Good afternoon. This is Chris Brecher with the Chart Patterns Mastery / Simpler Trading free video for April 1st, 2025. What are we watching? Well, we're watching the overall market trying to carve out a bottom. No doubt, trying to carve out a bottom in here. But the problem is I would have liked to see more of a washout. So most of the time when I see a washout, I want it to look like that massive candle. Now, you might have said this one over here was a good candle, and it's not bad, but usually you make a new low. So we're going to be watching that for the next week. I'm not bullish nor bearish in here yet because you have so much with this tariff stuff coming out, but I'll give you the good news and the bad news. The good news is the bond market's up so much. Yeah, there's, that's good. When the bonds go up, yields go down, maybe money goes into the stock market, maybe. Or maybe the bonds are going up or the yield's going down because they're so worried about the economy. So there are two ways to look at it. So in there. But this is what I'm watching. People are worried about the economy, and that's why you're seeing the Russell act so poorly. So you put this side by side with the ES in here. You're going to notice, and I'm going to unlink it so you could see this, but see the same interval. You're going to see it over here. On the left is the ES, on the right is the Russell. You're going to see if you take that 200 moving average, you see how under the Russell is, while on the left, this is under, and you might say, well, it's similar until you put in a weekly and you realize how low the Russell is on the right, as opposed to the S&P on the left. Most of the time, the S&P resolves itself down to the 200 if the Russell and the transports are at the 200, which they are. So that's just something to keep in the back of your mind. Doesn't mean tomorrow. Doesn't mean tomorrow one bit. And I'll show you why. Because right now, the ES, the S&P, is in a downtrend if you take the 50 moving average, the weekly. So you could take the 20 or the weekly, the 20. But it's oversold, as you see down here. Oversold down here. So unfortunately, some of the indicators messed up. Just go and add simple, and it comes right back up. And I'll show you simple moving average in TradingView. Take out simpler and just make simple. And it's in there. So you put simple moving average. Make it easy on yourself. Or you can duplicate it. So you can actually go in here and you can duplicate it. So there are a number of ways to do it in here if you're doing TradingView. If you want to go into 50, go into 50. There. So now what you're seeing in here is definitely the S&P is under the 20 and under the 50. We can make the 50 really pretty if you'd like. So we can make it purple. There you go. Or lavender. So you see what I see. Under the 20, under the 50, over the 200. Ultimately, it probably goes to the 200 unless the Russell and the transports have a miraculous rally. On the other hand, what's happened other times that the S&P has been oversold under things? Well, this time it's tough because it got oversold at the 200. Oversold over things. It's very rare lately for it to be oversold under things. There's one for you right here. So that would be right here in May of 22. What happened in May of 22 over here? Well, you're going to see it got oversold and stayed oversold. So that's what happens when you're in a downtrend. That's why I'm not sure I would trust this oversold over here. But if you do, I would love to see it back to the zero line if you're bearish and see this do nothing. We don't have that at the moment. So right now, you're sort of stuck that you have to wait for what happens with tariff news, and you got to go on price support and resistance. So let me just show you this because I think it's sort of a big deal. So we're going to go into today. And you're going to see that the markets had this sort of cup and handle sort of characteristic earlier. But it failed. Now, why did it fail? It failed because it was up near resistance already. But intraday, more at the end of the day, as you see, it took a stand in this area. You had that little rectangle, and it resolved itself to the upside. If you take an ATR trailing stop or a short-term average like a 20, once it reclaimed it, it stayed over it until, guess what? Right now. So that's something we're going to be watching tomorrow. I'm going to be watching these hourly, the hourly MACDs on the bottom to see if they get too overbought or too oversold. They've been working pretty well lately. Have a great night. Like I said, lots of tariff stuff, so tomorrow's more reaction mode kind of trading. Take care. Good afternoon, everyone. This is Chris Brecher, and I'm Senior Managing Director of Stocks at Simpler Trading. Thanks so much for watching this video. If you like our content, please leave us a like and a comment down below. Also, be sure to subscribe to our channel and click the bell notification icon so you never miss any of our great new content coming out. Good trading, and we'll see you at the next video. Take care.